I don't want us to just go through. I don't want us to just go through the series, and everything just went like that without having to go deep in whatever we want to be talking about. But I felt that we need to actually go deep in it. So we're going to be having it for 4 weeks, 2 more weeks for this particular event, because it's very important. In fact, you will see today why what I'm saying is very important. And we started last week. We started last week where we defined the concept of reinventing yourself, doing away with old habits, old attitude, old character, and you intentionally cultivating new ones because of a journey that you are going to. You are going on a journey of your own vision, what you have envisioned, and you going on that journey, you need to do away with old mindsets, do away with old habits, and so on. So reinventing is not becoming another person entirely. Reinventing is you trying to redirect your steps. And last week we actually used the illustration of shedding of the skin of a snake. So there is this renewal process of it that a snake used to shed the skin. This is just for illustration purpose. That a snake used to shed the skin. When the body of a snake is growing bigger than the current size of his skin, so the snake had to shed it off so that can one grow stronger, and two also it serve more like a renewal process in trying to regain new strength to accommodate the body that is growing. So, and that is one of the best illustration that I can actually use to talk about reinvention. So we'll be moving to the second phase today, and I'll be doing that with sharing my screen here. So just give me a minute. I just want us to head straight into it without wasting much of our time, because we don't have all day. So we are going to the second episode. We are going to the second episode of reinvention. Like I said, this is going to take 4 episodes, and this is the second episode. So let's just quickly brush through what we talked about last week so that we can refresh our memory. So we said reinvention. So we said reinvention is more like okay, yeah, we started with the fact that human life is a project with a completion date. So there are seasons, there are terrains, there are phases in human life that it demands a different form of ourselves, and whenever we start saying that this is who I am, is a mentality that we really need to do away with, because the particular person that you are saying, this is who I am, that you are, is actually a phase in your life that is growing. So you need to always have this posture of, even though this is the season that I am, but there are more seasons that is ahead of me, and there is a need at every point in time to do away, to shed away the skin, to bring in new mindsets, new habits, new attitude, new competence that can take you to where you envisioned in life. So we also talk about reinvention as the process of transforming oneself from an existing state of identity, capability, and mindset and behavior to a more desired and effective state. So, and we emphasize that it's not about becoming someone else, actually. It is just about becoming the person your next season requires. And, when we talk about seasons, we live through time based on seasons. So there are different seasons in human life. For example, while we are growing up, there are seasons where we are maybe in the basic level of education, in the nursery level of education, in the primary level of education, in the secondary level of education, and the tertiary level of education. So, and we see that each stage or each season actually need a different you. That is why the nursery level of education actually prepare you for the primary level of education. So where you are going, where you have envisioned yourself, there is a particular phase that you are currently, and there's a phase you are going, but you getting to that place that you envision yourself to be, this version of you is not going to get there. In fact, the achievement that you long for, this version of you is not going to achieve it. It's not going to get there. And that is the whole concept around, reinvention. So today, we are going to start with a framework that I designed for you to understand what reinvention is, and also for you to intentionally assess where you are now, where you are going, and how you are going to get to where you are going. Very important. And this particular framework is a general framework that can be specifically applied to a particular phase of your life. It might be personal, it might be career, because I know that a lot of us will need this for different reasons. In fact, some of us, we are business owners, that you just feel that this business I'm doing needs, we need to go to another phase. We need to go to another stage. We need to go to, we need to scale. Yeah, that's a word that people use. We need to scale. And at that moment when you are scaling, it means you need to shed off some things, and you need to take on a new garment that can actually take you to where you are going. Even the same as leaders, even in ministry, there are some times where you just feel that you have more clarity about your vision. And what you think that you are seeing before is totally different from what you are seeing now. And you just feel that this structure, this system, this identity that we have may not be able to achieve what we are seeing. What you need to do is to reinvent. Even in relationships, in finances, for example, even in relationship, let's say if you want to move from being a bachelor to a husband, being a spinster to a wife, you have to reinvent. A lot of people don't do this. I discovered this lately. See, a lot of people don't do this. Let's say two people are coming together, and you've lived your life to just fulfill your own goal. You've lived your life to just fulfill your own vision. At that point where two people are now coming together to live in the same space, to pursue the same vision, those two people actually need to reinvent themselves so as to fit in the new role that they're about to step into. So reinvention happens everywhere, and at every time. So it happens everywhere and at every time. The scripture talk about the sons of Issachar. Said they understand times and seasons, and they know when the Israelites ought to go to war and not. You see, seasons are very important. Understanding of seasons are very, very important. In fact, if you don't know the season that you are now, you won't be able to identify the curriculum that is able to equip you in this season. Because one thing about time and one thing about season is that there are carryovers that you have in seasons. So if whatever you are doing, whatever you want to do, maybe in the next season, you need to build up a capacity. You need to build up a particular attitude or an habit, and you don't build it up. See, you are going to carry it over to the next season, and it's going to be very cumbersome for you when you are at a season where you now have different carryovers from different seasons, and you now want to start doing this. Just imagine, let me use this as an example. Like, for example, let's say somebody at the age of 35 years, at the season when the person ought to go to university to get a degree, the person didn't get it. Doing different things with his or her life, and maybe now get to a season where he started understanding that, oh, I need to get this particular degree. Trying to now maneuver yourself around that time, and getting those things done will be very difficult for the person, because let's say the person is now married, the person now have a kid, so it means you're trying to be a father, you're trying to be a husband, you're trying to be a son, you're trying to also go to school. It's like more like a carryover from one season to another. So if we really don't understand season and we don't discern seasons, we would not understand the curriculum that is necessary for you to scale it through, to certify yourself that, no, I'm done with this season, up to the next. So, when we go to school, there is examination. What that does is to examine us whether we have the minimum requirement of competence, of knowledge, to actually scale through to the next season. And that's why you see some people saying they have carryover. No, now, the reason why I came in through this is because at every point in your life, you need to understand the season you are. Because if you don't understand the season that you are, it will be difficult for you to reinvent. Yeah. Because it's like you are moving to a phase to an higher phase. And so in this framework, we have those 3 dimensions. Number 1, you have to discover. Number 2, you have to design. Number 3, you have to develop. I posted something online today, and is a thought that I've been pondering on for a while now, maybe for weeks now. See, one thing about life is you need to design your life in a way that, if you are consistent with this design about your life, it's going to achieve this result. So there's a predictable outcome that is going to achieve these results, maybe in 2 years, in 3 years, in 4 years. That's one of the things that we don't do. Everything around us, society, culture, education, everything, they have more like something that is designed. For example, society and culture have what they call norms. Education have what they call curriculums, that they are specifically designed for you to move from point A to point B. But it looks like we don't actually see life as a school, that at every point you need a curriculum that is going to take you through from year to year. And this is what reinvention is trying to tell you. This framework is trying to tell you that at this particular phase of your life, can you try and look at some things in your life and say, I want to audit this out. This is where I am now. Okay, if I'm going to this place, what are the things that I need for me to go from where I am to where I'm going? So the first phase is discover. And that is when you start assessing yourself to say, okay, this is the place I am now. And designing is where you carve out the direction intentionally. And develop is when you run with it. So it means that you develop capacity, you develop competence around it. We are going to get to that. But if we are going to understand this three framework, which is discover, design, we need to, and develop, we need to actually talk about three foundations. And you see, this foundation is very important, that it cut across everything that, I want to say everything that you will even do in life. And that's the foundation of number one, mindset, foundation of exposure, and foundation of environment. You know, so when you discover, when you assess your situation, please give me a minute. Sorry, please give me a minute. Sorry, trying to sort out something. Okay, so there is no how you can really go through this framework, discovering the season that you are, designing your life to go in a direction of where you are going, and intentionally developing capacity, competence, and everything that you need for it, without looking at those three things. Because see, let me tell you this. The reason why some of you, in fact, when we go through this framework, you will know that some of you actually, you've gotten to the phase of discovery, you've gotten to the phase of design. Some of you might even maybe you are in the phase of developing. But the reason why they are not effective is because of these three things: your mindset, your exposure, and your environment. So they are the condition that you have to keep managing for as long as you are reinventing yourself. See, when it comes to reinventing, it's not something that happens just once. David, at a point in time, David was a shepherd. At a point in time, David was a minstrel. At a point in time, David was a servant in the palace. At a point in time, David was a giant slayer. At a point in time, David was a warrior. At a point in time, David became a leader. At a point in time, David became a king. So if you look at all these phases of his life, you would see that the kind of mindset or the kind of knowledge that is applicable in you being a minstrel is different from the kind of knowledge that is applicable in you being, a warrior or a king or even a servant in the palace. So at every point in time, you need to put on a garment, you need to put on a skin that really represents where you are going. So if we are looking at these three things, if we skip them, it means that, one, you operate at a very low ceiling. In fact, when you start discovering what exactly, maybe where you are, it can be shallow. When you start designing, in fact, your design will stay small. And when you start developing, your development will be very slow. So, mindset is internal. That's the lens you use in interpreting reality. So mindset is the lens that you use in interpreting reality. And one thing about mindset is that mindset will always keep renewing. Romans 12 verse 1 and 2 talked about the renewing of the mind. It said we should transform the way we think by renewing our mind. So anything that has to do with mindset has to do with our thinking faculty. So mindset is a collection of beliefs, attitude, and assumption that shape how you think. So, for example, now, a student can say, "Oh, I'm bad at maths," or "I'm not sure I'll ever improve in maths." That's a mindset. But a student can say, "I'm not good at maths," but I can improve with practice. That's another mindset. And one thing you must discover around mindsets concerning what we are trying to discuss is that mindset determines what you are willing to see. Mindset determines what you are willing to see. Mindset determines the ceiling of what you dare to design. Some people, if you have a shallow mindset that you are thinking that, oh, I'm not sure this thing is for my kind. Believe me, if you want to design your life, there are some things that you won't even think about because you already put a ceiling to whatever you want to design with your mindset. So your mindset can put a ceiling to whatever you want to design, whatever you see that is possible. And your mindset can decide the new skill or knowledge that maybe you may want to acquire. Some of you that you don't read books is because of the kind of mindset that you have. If you have a growth mindset, you will know that books are very important to the journey of life. See, books are very important in the journey of life. So, some of you that you don't know how to keep relationship, quality relationship, is the kind of mindset you have. And the other two that we are going to talk about actually contribute to how we shape our mindset. That's our exposure and environment. So when you start asking questions about mindset, you can ask that, what do I believe about myself that I've never actually tested? See, have a mind of your own. That's what I can say. I discovered that early in my life and it helped me. See, have a mind of your own. Anybody that comes to you to talk about something, you yourself needs to define it yourself before you absorb it. So, because there are many things that the society is actually throwing at us. There are different definitions online, different narratives that are online and all. And if you keep absorbing it without filtering it, see, it's going to have an effect on your mindset. The way you do life depends on your mindset. How you do life depends on your mindset. The kind of the way you appear depends on your mindset. The way you carry yourself depends on your mindset. The kind of room that you think that I am worthy of depends on your mindset. The kind of places that you go depends on your mindset. For example, if I should tell some of you now that, okay, don't let me even use that. Maybe that example, the example I want to make is even far. I don't want to use that example. But if I should start saying some things here now, some of you will counter it. And the reason why you counter it is because of your mindset. And that's even the reason why I don't want to give the example that I wanted to give. Because if I give that example, it might distract you from whatever you want to learn here today. It is because of the mindset. So when some people are saying some things, and there was a time that, like I said, there was a time that one billionaire's daughter wrote a quote online and was trying to explain it, and people were trying to criticize her that, oh, it's because you came from a big family, that's how you can just write quotes like that, something like that. And I look at that quote. It's about time, knowledge, and money. And this is a concept that I've been studying for like months now. And I'm like, if only people understand what this particular statement means, you won't say. And it's because of the mindset. We call it poor mindset. So, for example, now, if I should say, maybe some of you, in fact, do you know that mindset can affect you to the point that you may have money to buy something, and because of the kind of background that you came from, because of the kind of mindset you came from, or the mindset that has been shaped over time by your experiences, by your background, by your environment and all, you may think that thing, maybe one, you are not worthy of it, or two, it's too big for you to buy. No, it's mindset. See, all those things are mindsets. Yeah. All those things are mindsets. Some of you, the reason why you can't scale, even the reason why the reinvention that you are doing will not work is because of the limiting mindset that you have. It's because of the poor mindset, that you have. And your beliefs are not has been shaped by what life threw at you. And you see, one thing about mindset is that it must be intentionally created. You uh, don't leave your beliefs to anything that life throws at you. And this happens on social media. See, if you want to have an healthy mindset, you need to intentionally curate what you watch online. Because it's either those things actually expose you, which I'm going to, exposure, and actually improve your mindset, or it diminish even your mindset. It diminish whatever it is that, and it depends on the quality of knowledge that you are being exposed to. So I'm going to go to the second one, which is exposure. Exposure. So exposure is what you see, what you hear, what you experience, and what you interact with that shapes your thinking. Now, let me say shaped your mindset and broadens your possibility. See, the limit at which you can dream is the limit at which you are exposed to. Yeah. The limit at which you can dream is the limit at which you are exposed to. So that business that you think you are doing, have you ever thought of yourself in getting maybe 20 million naira contracts or even 1 billion naira contracts? I've been watching some interviews around billionaires recently, and you see how these people just cause billions of dollars like it's something that's is just there. Yeah, it's exposure. So the reason why, even if you want to reinvent, it won't work is because you are not yet exposed to even closing deals of 20 million naira, 10 million naira. There was a time that I used to do a websites for ridiculous amount of money. And it's because of the extent at which I was exposed to. So by the time I started having clients that are coming from a different part of the world, I had clients from Australia, from UK, from Norway, from US, and so on. And that it starts giving me a different mindset. And I start, when you are doing deals at a very ridiculous amount, even it will be very difficult for you to now say, I want to, for example, maybe your services, you've been pricing it at, you set the price around 20,000 naira, 30,000 naira. And now this is a client that is ready to pay 3 million naira. See, because of what you have exposed yourself to, it will be difficult for you to charge that amount. Yeah, very difficult. I've lost a deal because I charged a ridiculous amount of money just so that I can use the low price to convince them to give me the deal. And it's a pity that I actually lost it because of that. Exposure. So it's a process of coming in contact with new ideas. We are going to see how this matters in the framework that we are going to treat. So the way you are exposed to and how to do life is going to affect your mindset. See, the way you are exposed to on how marriage is being done, on how relationship is being done, is going to affect the way you are also going to relate with people. It's going to affect your mindset. When you are in a room with, for example, let me tell you something. Some people, when they see people, of the bourgeoisies, let me say bourgeoisies of the society, people of high caliber. And if it is at that point that you start saying, oh my God, it's an honor to meet you. Oh, wow. You see, that's mindset. It's because you have not yet exposed yourself to an environment where those things are normal. Yeah, those things are normal. And in fact, the way you approach people, especially people of high caliber, they can discern your mindset, the way you approach them, and it's going to affect how you your access. It's going to affect your access with them. It's going to affect even your relationship with them. So your exposure matters. The way you've seen leadership that is being done in the area that you have exposed to, maybe in your organization or in even your church or even in your home, that's the communication of leadership that will stick to you. So when people are talking about leadership in a different way, it will be foreign to you, because this is how you know. That is your exposure. Yeah, that's your exposure. So the reason why exposure matters is that it expands your perspectives. Yeah, it expands your perspective. It challenges limiting beliefs. It creates new aspiration. Exposure actually reveals opportunities you didn't know existed. See, one of the things that I believe that we should be doing once in a while is go to a place where, for example, for those that are in business, or for even those that are in career, yeah, see, it works anyway. It's a general principle. So for those that are in business and you feel, oh, God is taking me to a particular height, I need to scale at a point, I'm going to be getting different clients and all. One of the ways that you can expose yourself is go to places where you can see, like it can it expand your imagination. I hope you know that exposure actually matters in your vision, because the extent at which you are exposed to is the extent at which you are going to picture whatever future that you are trying to go to. Yeah, that's to the extent that you are going to picture it. If I should start saying some things now that can, maybe you should just dream of maybe someone here should just dream of what it is to be a president of the nation. Well, you might not have an idea of what it is because you are not exposed to the environment where president is. There are some people that their children are already, in fact, since when they are 3 years old, 4 years old, 5 years old, they are already exposed to their environment. So it is easy for them to have that vision of, oh, I'll be president one day. And this also matters in the political sphere, because that's the reason why some people are still going. You see, we keep, in a way, yeah, the political sphere is now turning to more like a family business now, that the father will go for governor, then in some years' time, the child also is coming back, maybe for House of Rep, with the vision of also becoming a governor. Yeah, it's because they are exposed to it already. So their own vision is very different. So whatever you are exposed to determines the kind of vision that you are going to have. So you can't desire what you have never seen. You can't desire it. It's not possible. One thing exposure does is that exposure provides new information and experiences for you. So let me give you this example. So two people can attend the same leadership seminar. In fact, two people can be here. We are currently listening to this, and one leave inspired, start developing leadership skills, and the other just leave thinking that, oh, people like me can never become something like that. Yeah, it's because the exposure that one has combined with the mindset. Someone might have a limiting mindset, then someone might have a growth mindset. So that's that. Now, let me go to the third one, because of our time, which is environment. Exposure and environment go hand in hand, but let me try to define it in a different way. And yeah, for exposure, I want you to do something. Yeah, this looks more like a task. So I want you to do something. I want you to list 5 experiences that has shaped your current sense of what is possible. Now, see, this is very important. That's why I adjusted my seat. Try and list out 5 things that you know that you are currently exposing yourself to, that is showing you what is possible. I want you to list out 5 people that you know that mere looking at these 5 people, they are showing me what is possible. There is a website I like visiting every now and then. And the reason why I like visiting that website is because I just like to expose my mind to many things. Like, this is how these people do things with excellence, with precision, with accuracy, with intentionality, meticulous arrangement and order. I love exposing my mind to those things. I read articles on places like Forbes, on places like Psychology Today. Those are international magazines, because I like exposing my mind to the thought process of people that are already up there. Yeah, that's part of exposure. Expose yourself to thought process of people that are out there. How do they think? List out 5 books, list out 5 rooms. See, some of you just need to see, some of you just need to go to somewhere that gives you a sense of what is possible. That's just it. Something or somewhere or someone that give you a sense of what is possible. Now, environment. Environment is an ongoing ecosystem that you are immersed in day to day. And whenever I'm talking about environment, see, environment is the world around you. That's your own world that continually shapes your habits, your decision. And when I'm talking about environment, I'm not talking about just a geographical location. I'm also talking about the people that you surround yourself with. The people you surround yourself with, the quality of conversations that you surround yourself with. Those are your environment. What are the quality of conversations that you surround yourself with? So for this, I would say that you should just list. Yeah, see, environment is important also in a way that what you see in your environment actually communicates to you. It was later in life that I actually understand, especially, see, for those of you that went to public school, it was later in life that I understand that the first form of learning, even in a school or in a university or so, the first form of learning is not hearing, it's actually seeing. And that's one of the most dangerous way of learning. And the unconscious way of learning. You won't know you are learning, but you are learning. Yeah. You see, it's seeing. That's the first way of learning. And that is why anytime people meet with you, the first thing they perceive about you is seeing. Before they hear you, when they see you, they perceive you already. Yeah. See, that's true. I've said it again. And for those that may not be in my previous classes, I'm going to say it again. That's even some of the things that you need to reinvent yourself is the way you dress, is your appearance. It's very important. See, people, when they see you, they are already listening to what you are saying. See, people listen to your thought process by seeing you. So when they see you, they know your thought process, they know your mindset. They are already learning from you. Have you, at any point in time, see somebody and you feel that, oh, I love this way this person carry himself? Yeah, you are learning already. So I don't know that until sometime later, that the first form of learning is seeing, because that's the first contact that you're going to have. And it matters in your environment. See, if you're in an environment where all they do is they curse each other, they are fighting, all this face me, I face you. I'm talking about geographical location now. Please find a way to get out of that environment. Because one thing environment does is that environment shrink you. In fact, no matter how big your vision is, because reinvention is based on vision, no matter how big your vision is, environment will shrink it to the capacity that is available in that environment. For example, I said that environment does not have to do with geographical space. So the quality of conversations that you have around yourself, no matter how big your vision is, if you share it with people that have a limiting mindset, they are going to shrink your vision to how best they understand it. And their understanding is based on their own exposure and mindset also. Yeah. So part of the insight also that I posted online, that I said, I've looked through everything God created. I've tried to research about everything God created. And I've never seen anything God created that have the potential just for one outcome. No. So you see, a tree can become many things. A crude oil can become many things. So God puts potential in everything He created to become many things. And when you look at people like, in fact, have you seen people that they are doing different things, and in your head you are thinking that, oh, they are doing too much? I've seen someone made mention of that statement to me before. They said, I'm doing too much. It's because of your environment. When you surround yourself with environment that shows you possibilities of what can be achieved, definitely that will also be your dream. That will also be your vision. Because there was a time where I got exposed to a different environment entirely. And it's more like I've been dreaming within a capacity of 10, and it just expanded it to 200. That's just an illustration. So it's more like you are dreaming the capacity of 10 and it exposed you to 200. You dreaming the capacity of 200. Apostle Reinvent said something about the environment. Apostle Reinvent said that when he started ministry, he said the kind of mindset that he started ministry with is that the kind of mindset of, oh, I want to do ministry that's going to ride private jets. I'm going to have different branches. That's the mindset that he started with. And he said because he didn't see all those things as luxury. He said the environment that he grew up in, Kenaland, Covenant University and all, said they see all those things as normal things, like it's not luxury. They see them as normal things, just like a tool for the gospel. And still, there are some environments where this same private jet and branches, you will see some people that will say that people are suffering, some people are buying private jets. Yeah, it's still environment. I know some of us have even argued that, or maybe in our mind, your mind, your body, and your soul, and your spirit have argued the same thing before. It all boils down to the environment. And all these things actually matters when we start talking about the framework. So because of our time, like I said, we are going to split this into 4 weeks. This is the second week. So your exposure and your environment go hand in hand, but both of them will actually determine your mindset. See, it's very important. See, let me say that when you hear something, the interpretation that you give to that thing depends on the kind of mindset that you have. There are some books that when you take that book again, maybe you've read the book some years back, go back and take that book. If you understand the same thing in that book, it means that you have not grown. Sincerely, see, this is just a practical aspect of it. If you read a book last year and you read the same book this year, and what you can get from that book is still the same thing that you get from that book last year, it means that you've not grown at all. It means that you've not added to your body of knowledge. Because one of the ways that shows that you've actually grown is when you read a book and later you go back to read that book and you have more illumination. Yeah, it means that you have grown. It's more like you reading Bible every day, and the same thing that you are seeing. No. That's why there is a revelation. That's why there is insight. That's why there's a spirit of insight and revelation. So let's just move. You would, this foundation that I've laid, you actually see the need for it when we start talking about the framework. So the first thing that we're going to be looking at is discover. So you cannot change what you do not understand. Every reinvention begins with discovery. It begins with discovery. And most people rush into changing their circumstances before they've understood their current reality. They treat symptoms and call it transformation. I've said this before also on this shift session, that know your leverage is very important. This is what the discovery is talking about. Know your leverage. Know the particular phase and season that you are now. What exactly is the season that you are now? You need to pen it down. In fact, this particular one is not just something that you have in your mind. It's something that you need to pen down. What is the season that I am? And that's a discovery phase. So for we trying to measure our discovery phase, we are going to use 4 lenses to measure our discovery phase. So discovery is not only introspective. So you discover yourself, you discover your environment, you discover your industry, your relationship, your marketplace, your season. So one of the things that you're going to write down is that the friends that I'm keeping, note them down. What are the industry that you are currently and the industry that you are going? You know, a brother of mine, myself and some of my brothers, we went to visit another brother. And when we got there, we saw something that was massive. So we were asking that was the story behind it. And he shared that story. And in fact, even though it's just more like few statements, I actually thought deep. It started when you started something with just graphic design and you move into printing, you move to motion design. And now you have a whole printing company, like where you print everything. You see, at every point, that is you reinventing yourself. Some of you have a competence that you know that in the next 2-3 years, this competence will not be needed. And you are so emotional about it that, that is who I am. You know, this is something that I have passion in it. It's not about having passion in it. It's about assessing it. And this is where the discovery phase is. It's about assessing with the current season that you are now. Some of you did what you are doing now. In the next 2-3 years, AI is going to do it far more better. And you are not trying to look at it from the lens of how can I scale up this thing? Yeah. How can I scale up this thing? That's the discovery phase. And we can use 4 lenses to look at our discovery phase. I'm going to stop here for today. Number 1 is self-discovery. So I'm going to be asking some questions that if we have our notepad, we can just write it down, just in a way to discover ourselves. Number 1 is, what do I value? Like, what do you value? What is your value system? You need to understand, discover your value system. And if you can't pinpoint, like, let's say 5 things that you value, please, there is problem. Sincerely. So as a person, you need to understand what you value. because it is your value system that is going to help your design phase. What are your values? What are your values? What is your value system? What are the things that you value so dear? And one thing about discovery also, for those that are married, this can help you in a way, is that just ask people around you. Just ask people around you that, what are the things that I value as a person? You see, one thing about value system is that people must know what you value. That's just it. People must know what you value. And that is because value is something, is a life we live every day. That is what guides the life we live every day. That is what sets the standard of the life that we live every day. Some people value excellence. Some people just value things to be done orderly. Have you met some people that they just want things to be done orderly? So they value excellence, they value service. Some people value growth mindsets. I hope you know that knowledge, some people value knowledge. So for example, this is just a 1 hour of teaching now. But if your value system is not knowledge is not part of your value system, you can just attend this, and maybe because some of you are in my mentorship community, or maybe you just know me from nowhere and just feel like, hey, let me just attend there. Let me just go there and come back. Yeah. And at the end of the day, you just hear and discard. Yeah. So some people value knowledge. When they see knowledge, when they hear knowledge, they sit with it. They excavate the treasures that is there. For me, somebody can say one thing and I sit with it. I just to try and excavate, okay, what is this? What is that? Yeah, because I value knowledge. And the reason how we know that you value knowledge is you being drawn to where there is abundance of it and quality. Yeah, it's very important. You know, when the systems that you set for yourself per day and per week will show us whether you value knowledge or not. Because we can look at how many minutes do you dedicate to you intentionally gaining knowledge. How much, what is the highest amount of money that you have paid to actually get knowledge? Those are discovery phase. So I'm just asking you questions that you need to do a deep reflection about. So what do you value? What are your value system? So contextual discovery is that what is true about my environment. You need to look at what are the things that has changed in your field, in your industry. What are the things that have changed? See, you need to track the kind of involvement that is going on in your industry. That's your discovery phase. I was speaking with okay, she was here. Okay, she left. So I was speaking with a mentee of mine. Well, more like, yeah, I can call her a mentee, and she wanted to do something. She came to me just to ask for advice and consult. So I told her, I said, this thing you want to do, because I know that you've seen people that they are doing this thing very well and you envy the way they are doing it. But is this thing still relevant to the vision? You might have the idea 2 years ago, but now, I'm not talking about even last month or 2 months ago, because within the last 3 months or so, platforms like ChatGPT and Cloud AI, they've released like different amount of, updates and all. And everywhere is changing. And you need to be very intentional about what are the things that have changed in my industry. What are the things that are obsolete? What are the things that used to work, but they are not working anymore? And this also has to do with marketing strategies and all. What are the ways that I've marketed myself for so long that is not working? I need to discover those things. I need to write it down, because you have to be intentional about it. Another is relational discovery. Like, who are the people that actually influence the way I think? See, if you ask me today that who are the people that influence the way I think, I will mention 5 of them without they are, in fact, not even me. My wife can mention 5 of the people that influence me because it's evident. These are people that I know that where I'm going, they are the one that influence me. So you need to actually look at the relational discovery also. You need to look at the discovery. Relational discovery also has to do with your friends. Who are the people that I surround myself with? Have I been intentional about this friendship? Am I in this friendship because of emotions, or I'm in this friendship because of value? Yeah. Am I in this friendship because of value, or I'm in this friendship because ó ti pẹ́ tá ti ń bára wa bọ̀? You know that kind of mentality. Ó ti pẹ́ tá ti ń bára wa bọ̀. So a lè fẹ́ra wa lẹ̀. Is that the kind of mindset that you have in that friendship? You have to list it out. You need to discover the people that are leading you, people that are influencing you towards your next season. What are the people that are influencing you toward your next season? And sometimes, see, when it comes to this, well, maybe when we come to design, I'm going to talk about this because some of you, see, in as much as you have mentors, you have models, you have templates, you have mentors that are in books, you need somebody that you can actually relate with, someone you can sit with, someone that understands you, that knows your journey. See, those people that are up there in quotes that you are seeing, those people, they can't relate with your journey. They are only writing books, they are only, teaching general principles that can be applicable to your journey. But you actually need people that constantly, these people know my journey. These people know where I'm heading to. And also, please be careful also in the kind of person that you share your vision with like that. So people that you can be accountable to. People that when they see that you are not getting to where you are going to, they can call you and say that, come, what's happening? This is where you are going. Why is it that you are still here? What's going on? See, you need those people in your life. That's it. You need those people in your life. The relational discovery. And also seasonal discovery. See, this one is very, very important. You need to know the season where you are, the season that you are. So, in the vision that you are aspiring to, is this season a season of laying foundation, or is it a season of execution? Is it a season of developing of character? Is it a season of developing of leadership? See, seasonal discovery will tell you the kind of books you are to read. Because if you are the kind of person that you are thinking, oh, what kind of book should I read? Or if you are the kind of person that you just feel, I should listen to anybody, I should read any books, it is not so. Your season will determine the kind of person you listen to. Because it is the knowledge from that kind of person that is going to help you to now say, okay, I want to reinvent myself. Your season will determine the kind of books that you will read. Your season will determine many things in your life. Many things in your life. So you need to do a season discovery. You need to do a seasonal discovery, a relational discovery, a contextual discovery, and a self-discovery. And these are questions that you need to ask yourself. I'm going to write some of those prompts that you need to reflect about based on what we teach on the channel. So I'm going to list them out. And I want you to just intentionally go through them and see the aspect at which you just need to sit yourself down and do an honest assessment. And see, one trap, let me end with this. The trap of this particular stage that you are is that when you are now doing analysis without honesty, you are not honest about the analysis you are doing. And also, see, The analysis that you are doing depends on the exposure and the mindset that you have. That is why I started with that foundation. So, some of you is more like, okay, let me use this example. If you are in a school that have just 3 students, and okay, let me just use, if someone is in a school that have just 3 students, and the person came last, they will say the person came third. Now, because of the environment that the person is, they will say the person came third. But if you now go to a school where there are like 50 people, and the person also now maybe came last, you say the person came 50th. So there is difference between the two. The assessment is different. Your exposure determines the kind of assessment that you are going to have about yourself. So the trap of this stage is that if you are not honest with your analysis, if you are not honest with your assessment, so it is possible for you to assess, for you to reflect on this stage, and you not sit with the uncomfortable truth. For example, if at this stage you know that you need to work on your communication, you just know. Or in fact, it will be better if you have someone that can do some assessment for you. See, let me say that people who wants to grow, they are very intentional about their life, and especially about feedback. So if you own an organization, or if you have more like a business, I will want you to do an honest feedback. It might be anonymous. Those are the kind of assessment that we are talking about when we go to discovery stage. In fact, it might even be your client. Honest assessment of your product, and don't be shy to receive feedback. It's going to hurt you. Receive it anyway. And don't use this discovery phase to gather evidence for a decision you already made. No, let the discovery phase itself, let it reveal the path or the decision that you want to take. That's another trap. Don't do a confirmation. Just maybe you have a mindset already that, this is who I am, this is what I want to work with. Don't start with that. Start with you doing an assessment of this discovery. Then you can now say, okay, this is where I am. I agree that this is where I am. I agree that I don't have this. I agree that maybe I don't communicate well. This is the stage where you agree that you don't dress well. This is the stage where you agree that there are some places that you are even staying currently that you need to change. This is the stage where you agree. Well, let me whisper. This is the stage where you agree that even the church that you are going to is limiting your mindset. This is the stage where you agree that if you are being exposed to the kind of knowledge that you have currently, that you are going nowhere. This is the stage where you agree that aspect of you saying, no, I don't like submitting to people. I don't want mentorship. There's no need of mentoring. The Holy Spirit is my mentor. This is the stage where you agree that those kind of statements are wrong. This is the stage where you agree that you need accountability. So these are discovery phase. So in the next week, we are going to be continuing this particular reinvention. So the next phase is design phase, and it's the design phase that after you have now discovered that honest assessment, this is who I am, this is what I've. Please always ask people for feedback on. It's very important. See, if you have friends, that is why don't keep friends that can't tell you the truth. Do not keep friends that can't be honest with you. So do not keep friends that can't be honest with you. When we get to the next phase, that's the next dimension, which is design. So design is now going to talk about, now that we've agreed that this is our phase, let's now talk about the vision that we are seeing. Let's write it down and let's be specific about it. To say, okay, this aspect, this assessment that I've done, can I boldly say that this particular phase in my life or this particular version can take me to where we are going? So that is where we now start designing. Okay, who are the people that I need to meet? Who are the people what are the rooms that I need to enter? What are the conferences that I need to go? What are the knowledge that I need to acquire? What are the mindsets? What are the exposure that I need? What are the environment that I need? So all those things will actually determine the way you design. And see, your exposure, like I said, will also limit your design phase. Because design phase can be very, very different. So thank you so much for today. It's been over 60 minutes of different. It's been over 60 minutes of shift sessions. This is where we are going to end today's shift session. And next week, we are going to continue on reinvention, episode 3. And I can say that if you are intentional about this particular topic, it will be very easy for you to reinvent in any aspect of your life. In fact, your career. Yeah, your career. You know, some people, they need to go and enroll in more certifications. This is where you need to discover that. So many things like that. So thank you so much, everybody. It's been a great time with everybody here today. Next week, Thursday, 8 p.m. is another time for shift session. I hope that we have been able to shift our mind and it's my prayer that we value this knowledge and also we work intentionally about your life. Yeah, it's my prayer. Thank you so much. God bless you. Please do have a blessed night.